I'm going to put the hook in the vise with the shank of the hook parallel to the table. And first of all, I'm going to lead the hook to get some weight and make this fly sink. So I'm going to take a section of lead and I'm going to put about 1/4 of an inch of it up through the eye of the hook. Now I'm just going to wrap nice and tight, close wraps, about 2/3 of the shank of the hook. Once I get that done with my thumbnail now, I'll just pinch off the back end and run my thumbnail around underneath the eye on the front end and center that on the shank of the hook. My hook is leaded. It's that fast and easy. Now I'm going to secure that lead. I'm going to stab my thread on the shank of the hook in front of the lead and back, just in back of the eye. I'm going to wrap over that lead several times, all the way down and back. I don't want this lead slipping on me and destroying that fly the first time a fish hits it. I'm going to anchor that lead in pretty good shape. Now for the tail of this fly, I'm going to use a marabou blood. What it is a marabou feather, and I'm going to use a whole feather on it. What I want to use is the tip ends. I'm going to crunch this feather down. And hold it tight. I'm going to hold it up to the shank of the hook. I want the tail to extend shank length past the bend. The shank is from here to here. I want this feather to extend past the bend that distance. So I'll hold it up here and I can see where it's going to be and just move that back. And that's where my tail is going to be. Now I'm going to grab it in my left hand where I'm going to tie it on and cut, leaving just enough to tie on with my fingers. I'm going to tie it on about halfway down the shank of the hook, right where my thread is right now. I'll pinch it and hold it on top. And my first turn will be very loose. And then I'll pull the thread towards me. That will tighten it up. I'll take 5 turns all in the same spot there to anchor it. Now running my fingers back, I'm going to hold it up at an angle towards me, about a 45-degree angle off the top of the hook, and wrap my thread over it all the way to the bend, where I'm going to take 5 wraps in the same spot to anchor it back there. My thread is right at the bob of the hook where it should be. My tail is attached. Now I've got to bring my thread forward just a little bit. Where I'm going to prepare my feather now. My feather, saddle feather. I'm going to take the tip of the feather and pull all the bobs back to a 90-degree angle to the stem. So now I have a feather like this. This tip is what I'm going to attach to the hook. And wrap back to the bend. I'm going to take again 5 turns of the thread back there to anchor that. Then I'll bring my thread forward again. I'm now going to attach about 6 inches of chenille. I'm going to stay away from the eye of the hook a little bit where I attach this. The first turn will be very loose, and then 5 tight turns to tighten it up. I'm going to hold that chenille up at a slight angle and towards me just a little bit and wrap over that the whole length of the shank of the hook. Back at the bend, I'm again going to take 5 turns to anchor it back there and bring my thread all the way forward just before the eye again. Why I have anchored my material the whole length of the shank of the hook each time is because if I was to wrap everything back here at the bend, there'd be a huge bunch of material where I attached everything. By wrapping it and attaching it the whole length of the shank, I'm going to have a uniform body the whole length of the shank of the hook. Now I'm going to wrap my chenille. The first wrap of my chenille will be in back of this feather. Hold the feather up, bring the chenille around the back, then pull the feather to the back. Now I'm going to wrap nice and tight. Nice uniform wraps all the way to the front of the hook. I'm going to stay away from the eye of the hook though. I'm going to stay back just a little bit. When I get where I want to be, I'm going to hold the chenille up with my right hand straight up and drop my bobbin over the back. Now I'll switch hands. I'll bring my bobbin towards me and keep tension on that thread, and I can release the chenille now. It's not going to go anyplace. I'll take 5 turns over the chenille, all in the same spot to anchor it. Now I can cut that nice and close. Now I'll wrap my hackle feather. My first turn, I'll be very careful not to catch the point of the hook, so I'll break that feather. My first turn, I'm very lightly on that. After I get 2 turns on, now I can start tightening up a little bit. I'm going to try to follow my chenille to the front, keeping that feather nice and straight. Now again, when I get to the front here, I'm not going to go all the way to the eye of the hook. I'm going to stay back just a little bit. I'll hold the material in my right hand, drop my bobbin over the back with my left. Now I'll switch hands. Hold the material with my left hand, take my bobbin, and pull it towards me. Keep some tension on that. Now I can release the feather and attach it with 5 wraps, all in the same spot. Now I can cut that feather. I'm going to pull those hackle feathers back. While holding them back, I'm going to create a nice smooth head here. Now I'll tie off by using my half hitch tool. I'll take the half hitch tool and lay it on my thread. Take 1 turn around the end of the tool, take the tool up to the eye of the hook, and gently slide that thread off from the tool. Now I'll take a double half hitch by going around the end of the tool twice and sliding that off and lifting up. That will lock that in place. And cut my thread. Now we have a finished woolly bugger.